In this video, we are going to unlock the power of your mind. But beware, with great power comes great responsibility. I want to talk with you today about how to harness this immense power of your subconscious mind and how to use it to achieve your goals and to evolve in your life. Our subconscious mind is like a computer program. It's extremely literal. So if we say, I want a royal blue coat, it literally says, okay, she wants a royal blue coat. So we want to be wise in how we use our subconscious mind. And I'm going to get into that in this video right now. Because if we want to manifest something in our life, which we all do, let's face it, we want to be wise on how we are inputting our thoughts into the world. A lot of those thoughts are not even conscious to us. So I want to give you this analogy that helps me understand how the subconscious mind works. You have your conscious mind and you have your subconscious mind. Your conscious mind takes up about 3% of the space, so to speak. Your subconscious mind is about 97%. So it's enormous. And I want you to imagine that your conscious mind is more like the farmer, if we were to use an analogy. So the conscious mind is this farmer, the subconscious mind is the soil. And then we want to plant seeds into that soil. And in this case, the seeds are our thoughts. So what we want to also do is tend to the soil. We want to make sure that the soil is healthy and it's got oxygen and it's free of the weeds. And so that way it has the potential for us to plant seeds, aka our thoughts, and those seeds can really grow and prosper into wonderful manifestations. So the brain is very powerful, and our subconscious takes up most of our capacity. It's 97%. So our goal is to have the healthiest subconscious that we possibly can. And this is a practice. This doesn't happen overnight. Our conscious mind, however, that can be the aspect of us that makes decisions. And the subconscious mind doesn't necessarily have to think. This is the more emotional part of ourselves. And it also does unconscious things like digesting our food and breathing, things that we never have to think about. For example, if you try to use your conscious mind to do something that the subconscious part of your mind does not necessarily agree with, that's when you feel stuck and you find that you cannot move forward no matter how hard you try. You may be trying every single thing that you can. Maybe you've set goals and they're just not happening. That's because of the disconnect between your conscious and your subconscious. So if we are to establish a goal together today, let's get our conscious mind and our subconscious mind on the same team because it makes our life so much easier. Like brushing your teeth or riding a bike. At first, you have to think about those things early in life when you try them, but then after a while, it becomes habitual and you just know how to do it and you no longer have to even give it a thought. It just happens. That's what we're aiming for. So let's get into these 7 shocking facts and how you can implement them. Fact number 1 is that your subconscious mind is really the biggest source of your individuation. It is the part where you can know your true or authentic self. So they say that the subconscious mind can be our biggest source of suffering. And in my experience, that has definitely been the case. But with that said, there is also a contrast to this idea that when we have allowed ourselves to be in the source of suffering and we have faced a lot of it, we face our shadow, we face our fear, then it also allows us to align with our biggest source of peace. You see, we all have these memories and experiences from our past, and even sometimes stuff that we've taken on from before we were even born that have been the source of beliefs or patterns or ways that we think in our present day life. And if we don't face these and kind of uproot them, sort of like the garden that I mentioned to you, and pull the weeds of our garden, then these things will actually start to rule our life. And we might not even notice that it's happening at first. We might just notice that we have problems all the time, or chaos, or things don't seem to go our way, or we keep having self-sabotaging moments. These are signs that our subconscious mind is taken over. Fact number 2. The subconscious mind is this powerful force that can be harnessed for good or for evil. And we must choose to be of service and to do the work to look into our shadows and not reject them, so we can bring them up and we can actually transmute those shadows into ways of being of high service while we are in this world. So from a macro perspective, this means that in our world, in our culture, there's various ways that people or groups or large organizations, governments, etc., these can be used to manipulate our subconscious mind with groupthink or to do things that might not actually be in our best interest or in the interest of those that we love. For example, be aware anytime you hear things that are stimulating your fear or your anxiety, or understanding that you are vulnerable to a lot of things external to you, and that there's a lot of forces who are trying their best to get more clicks from you on the internet, to get more dollars spent from you, to get more of your time, more of your energy, more of your attention. And that if you can understand that, then you can also see that you are vulnerable to your subconscious mind being manipulated on a larger scale. This will feel often like there's a sense of urgency that you have to make a decision right here, right now, when you really don't. Okay, fact number 3. I like this one so much. The fact is that your subconscious mind is connected to the consciousness of the entire universe. Really big idea, but we don't have to look so far to find the answers on this one from Carl Jung. We're all connected. Everything is connected. And we hear songs like we're all one. We've heard this before. But the reality is your subconscious is made up of not only personal experience from you and memories, but it's also made up of a collective from our entire culture and all the consciousness that has come before you. And I love this idea, because what that means is that when we choose to do the inner work and we choose to do the cleaning up of our own garden and pulling the weeds of our own garden, then it doesn't just make an impact on our lives, it ripples out to everybody. Let's move on to fact number 4. So this is about how your subconscious mind is so connected to your physical body and the manifestations that happen in your physical body. So it can reveal illness or physical issues. It can also reveal repressed memories or emotions that perhaps you weren't looking at. We often see our subconscious come up through our dreams, but one of the biggest mind-blowing things that happens when I work with my clients is I help paint the picture of how their subconscious mind has contributed to the manifestation of things like disease, illness, cancer, autoimmune, and so many other aches and pains and so much more that's happening in their body. And the common thing I often hear is, I don't want to dredge up the past. Let the bygones be bygones. Forgive and forget. That's water under the bridge. You've heard all of this before, I'm sure. And even though we don't always need to go into the past, the reality is if we have fear and resentment and old anger that we have not dealt with, then these things do manifest as disease and illness in our body. So our subconscious mind, again, is this garden. We got to weed the garden. If we're not, then our soil quality, my metaphor here is ringing true, is not going to be healthy enough for us to manifest the thoughts that we have around health or prosperity or feeling good or feeling free or being pain-free even in our body. It can be very empowering to know that there's something that we can do. And it also allows us to align more specifically with our dreams and our visions and our goals, because once we start to get a handle on cleaning up some of the subconscious stuff, it starts to pivot us into what we want to create and manifest. Fact number 5. So the Buddha actually told us that our subconscious mind is creating our reality through our thoughts and our emotions. And that if we want to change our reality, then we need to change our thoughts. There's this quote that I've heard over the years, and it basically goes something like, if you allow your emotions to rule you, you will lose yourself every single time. One of my mentors often likes to say, you can't control your first thought, but you can control your second thought. And this also comes from the work of Byron Katie. The reality is, we have so many first thoughts that come in, and they will always come in, but we get to question our thoughts. We have control over questioning it. And what Byron Katie often likes to say, and I appreciate her work, is that true? Is that true? That is her phrase. So we question all the thoughts and we're wondering, is it really even true? And this can be one of the most powerful ways we can manifest. In fact, I have a whole video on how to manifest by first letting go, and I'll link it around here so you can check that out as well. And this brings me to fact number 6. Your subconscious mind is where the access point is to our deepest wisdom and our intuition, and how we have so much potential to access it when we are more in touch with stillness and being alone with ourselves and being calmer, or putting ourselves in situations where there's less noise, nature, meditation, prayer, mindfulness, journaling, allowing ourselves to be in a place of laughter, and opening up our body in ways with movement. This can inspire our subconscious mind to get rewired or reprogrammed, if you will. If you look at it like a computer, we have this capacity, and the more that we use our subconscious mind, the more capacity we can grow with it. For me, this has been about really cultivating a spiritual practice on a daily basis. And it's created so much trust with myself. And it's also created incredible shifts in my relationships and my connection with God, universe, spirit, but also it's created a lot more connection with my physical body. What I recommend for anyone who is practicing any kind of mindfulness practice is to just keep showing up. There's nothing to fear, but we also want to be aware that we are constantly being exposed in this world to the outside influences around us that are trying to infiltrate our subconscious. And so it is imperative, in my opinion, personally and professionally, that we have some kind of daily spiritual practice that allows us to get centered and more present to start our day at the very least, so we can show up in this world and be able to operate our subconscious in a way that is powerful and not detrimental. Finally, we get to fact number 7. Your subconscious mind is your key to enlightenment and liberation. And I don't know if you came here for enlightenment or not, but at the very least, it is your key to waking up each day and feeling more open and more connected, maybe feeling more of a sense of joy or freedom. And no one's happy all the time. That doesn't exist. But what does exist is our capacity to hold more of everything. And here's what I mean by that. When we do this practice of uprooting some of our old stuff, the old things that live in our shadow, our fear, we've all got trauma. The moment we were born, we had trauma. So as a human being living on planet Earth, we might have been exposed to things like addiction or betrayal or abuse or pain, physical pain, emotional pain, mental pain. We may have been exposed to illness and disease. There's all kinds of things from our past, and no one's alone in this. But when we allow ourselves to hold more space for all of that, what it does is it actually opens up our capacity to hold more space for some of the most beautiful, light-filled gifts. And there's a saying that's often said that the person who's actually gone to the depths of their soul, the person who may have had some of the hardest times in their life, also has the capacity to end up being one of the happiest people in their life. And the only difference of that is stepping more into understanding our subconscious and allowing it to be a portal or something that we can transmute all of that energy, all of that pain into a different kind of energy. And that's an energy of more love and more compassion, and a energy where we can open up our body instead of feel more constricted and closed down. Now, I get the honor and privilege of getting to do this work with my clients. It happens to be my expertise of holding both the contrast of the shadow work and the light work. And so if you need any support, you can check the information below, and there's all kinds of ways to get in touch with me. But to wrap up this very important topic, I highly recommend that you start your daily practice. And it doesn't even matter what that looks like. It doesn't have to be perfect. It just matters that you show up and that you start to look at some of the things, you'll know what they are, that start to arise in your subconscious that you might need to take a little deeper look at. And it's been my experience that we can't always do this work solely on our own, because there are certain things we just can't see within ourselves, and that is why we work with other people. So whether it be a mentor, a coach, a therapist, a community that you are in, a group, a school, there's so many different options available to us. If it's not me, it's somebody else. Find the service, find the support that you need, because when you do this work, it impacts us all. If you like this video, please give me a thumbs up. Oh, and leave me a comment below. I'd love to hear from you. Please subscribe, and we have a video that comes out every single week. So if you want to be the first one to hear, hit that little notification bell, and I will see you in the next video.